Namaste, angels. This will be our weekly general reading for the week of Sunday, October 22nd through Saturday, October 28th. I'm beginning this reading very randomly at 4:44 in the afternoon on Friday, October 20th. So the day following our new moon in Libra. It was also Diwali yesterday. So happy Diwali to anybody still celebrating, or you're going to celebrate through the weekend. I forgot to mention it, I think, during the general, but those of you who've been watching me for a while, or at least since this time last year, or you watched me this, at least once this time last year, then you would have seen that I did actually educate some of you on what the Feast of Diwali is, the Festival of Light, and, celebrate with those of you who already knew about it. Also, yesterday we were able to see Uranus with the naked eye, and a lot of wishes and dreams coming true. Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, the sign of Aquarius, and of course, Aquarius associated with the star card in the tarot, wishes and dreams coming true. So hopefully we're still enjoying some of that energy, although today is a Scorpio moon. So with that, I'm going to go into Christian Judeo feasts and festivals and holidays, beginning with, just tell you a couple. The 23rd is, well, Monday the 23rd is actually said to be the first day of creation. That's not what I was going to tell you, though. On this calendar, it is the feast day of Saint John Capistrano, who was a priest, who was canonized as a saint. The 24th, Saint Anthony Mary, Claret Bishop. And then nothing else on this calendar, the Christian feast days, until the 28th, which is the last day for which this reading is, when there are two pretty special ones, two apostles, Saints Simon and Saint Jude, or also known as Judas, not the one who, was foul. There's another Judas, brother of Simeon, son of Mary, Mary the Virgin's cousin. So cousin of Jesus also. I'm sorry, I said a whole mouthful. That's not any of that. None of that is written here. So like I said, again, also the Monday, the 23rd, is said to be the first day of creation. There was even a huge court case on it. You guys can Google that, check it out. And it's the first day of the sign of Scorpio. Sun enters Scorpio. So we have tomorrow, Sunday, the first day for which this reading is, the sun dawning on Libra and setting on Libra rather, and dawning on Scorpio. All right, so I'm going to go also to the Jewish or Hebrew calendar. And all we have is the 21st, because I explained last week that Heshvan, which is what begins on the 21st and what is celebrated on the 21st, is a month with no holidays. All the high holy holidays were like last month. And then like throughout the month, it was the celebration of Sukkot, all the way into, of course, Simchat Torah. And so now this month is kind of like the break. And historically, in the ancient times, it's the month in particular where they waited for the Messiah. So we have that. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about Saint Jude. This is from www.catholic.org. Saint Jude was known as also Thaddeus. He was the brother of Saint James the Less and a relative. Did I say he was the brother of Saint Simeon? I think I did. Well, it says he was the brother of Saint James the Less. So if I said that, correct me there. And a relative of our Savior. So I'm right about that. He was one of the 12 apostles of Jesus, and his attribute is a club. Images, and Raphael's outside too. I don't know if you can hear. Images of Saint Jude often include a flame around his head, which represents the presence at the Pentecost, or his presence at the Pentecost, when he accepted the Holy Spirit alongside the other apostles. Another attribute is Saint Jude holding an image of Christ in the image of Edessa. Sometimes he can also be seen holding a carpenter's ruler, or is depicted with a scroll or book known as the Epistle of Jude. Biblical scholars agree that Saint Jude was the son of Clopas, and his mother was Mary, who was the Virgin Mary's cousin. Ancient writers tell us that he preached the gospel in Judea, Samaria, Idumea, Syria, Mesopotamia, and Libya. According to Eusebius, he returned to Jerusalem in the year 62, and he assisted at the election of his brother, Saint Simeon. Okay, I was right. I don't know why they left Simeon out. Never mind. We're going to keep going. He was the brother of Simeon, and apparently he's also the brother of Saint James the Less. So he assisted in the election of his brother, Saint Simeon, as the Bishop of Jerusalem. Saint Jude is not the same person as Judas Iscariot, who betrayed our Lord. And by our Lord, I mean Jesus. I understand he's not everybody's Lord. He betrayed Jesus and despaired because of his great sin and lack of trust in God's mercy. Raphael's getting loud, so I hope you guys can still hear me. Jude was the one who asked Jesus at the Last Supper why he would not manifest himself to the whole world after his resurrection. I guess it's because of what I'm speaking about. So what he meant by why wouldn't he manifest himself? When Jesus was resurrected, only select people from place to place could see not only him, but other souls and what they call saints in the Bible, who were also raised from the dead on that occasion. Only select, or maybe only the elect, could see those beings who had risen from the dead. Those who did not have eyes couldn't see, right? God says, let those who have eyes see. All right, so Jude was also the one who asked Jesus at the Last Supper why he would not manifest himself to the whole world after his resurrection. Little else is known about his life. Legend claims that he visited Beirut and Edessa and could have been martyred with Saint Simon in Persia. Simon, not to be confused with his brother Simeon. He is also an author of an epistle, a quote-unquote letter to the churches of the East, particularly the Jewish converts. He directed against the heresies of the Simonians, the Nicolaitans, and the Gnostics. Though St. Gregory the Illuminator has been credited as the apostle to the Armenians, the apostle Jude, as well as Bartholomew, are believed to have brought Christianity to Armenia, where Jude was rumored to have later been martyred. There is some debate about where Jude died, though most biblical scholars agree he was martyred. He is believed to have been martyred in Armenia or Beirut. Following his death, St. Jude's body was brought to Rome and left in a crypt in St. Peter's Basilica. Today, his bones can be found in the left transept of St. Peter's Basilica under the main altar of St. Joseph in a tomb he shares with the remains of the apostles Simon the Zealot. Pilgrims came to St. Jude's grave to pray, and many reported a powerful intercession leading to the title, the Saint for the Hopeless and the Despaired. Two saints, St. Bridget of Sweden and St. Bernard, had visions from God asking them to accept St. Jude as the patron saint of the impossible. Roman Catholics invoke St. Jude when in desperate situations because his New Testament letter stresses that the faithful should persevere in the environment of harsh, difficult circumstances, just as their forefathers had done before them. Therefore, he is the patron saint of desperate cases. The Chicago Police Department and the Flamingo Club in Rio, which is a soccer team, have made St. Jude their patron saints. And there are several hospitals who have also accepted him as their patron saint, including the well-known children's hospital, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee. There have also been several sites across the world dedicated to the Apostle Jude, including shrines and churches. The National Shrine of St. Jude was founded in 1955, which equals 56, by the way, or 11, and can be found in England. There are two mentions of Jude in the New Testament. One is Luke 6:16, and the other is Acts 1:13. When Jude was mentioned in the Bible, it was often in relation to James, Jude of James, which is traditionally interpreted to mean Jude, brother of James, as in the King James version of Luke 6:16. However, Jude, son of James, appears in Protestant translations such as the NIV, NIRV, and the New King James Version. Remember last week I was talking about whatever I was talking about, and I said there's over 100 versions of the Bible. So I just read off about 4 of them. The same discrepancy occurs in Acts 1:13. In John 14:22, a disciple called Judas, not Iscariot, is assumed to be the Apostle Jude, though critics believe it is too ambiguous to believe it is certain. When the apostles are listed in Matthew 10:3 and Mark 3:18, Jude's name does not appear, but Thaddeus does. And of course, they're the same person. This occurrence led early Christians to believe Jude was known as both Jude and Thaddeus, the latter of which could have been a sort of nickname. Thaddeus may have become a popular nickname for Jude following Judas Iscariot's betrayal. To add further confusion to Jude's second name, the name Thaddeus is often indistinguishable from Thaddeus of Edessa, one of the 70 disciples. A popular Roman Catholic prayer to Saint Jude is, O most holy apostle, Saint Jude, faithful servant and friend of Jesus, the church honors and invokes thee universally as the patron of the hopeless cases and things almost despaired. Pray for me, who am so miserable. Make use, I implore thee, of that particular privilege according to thee, to bring visible and speedy help where help was almost despaired. Come to mine assistance in this great need, that I may receive the consolation and the succor of heaven in my necessities, tribulations, and sufferings, particularly, and you can insert something there, and that I may praise God with thee and all the elect throughout eternity. I promise thee, O blessed Jude, to be ever mindful of this great favor, to always honor thee as my special and powerful patron, and to gratefully encourage devotion to thee. Amen. The novena, a prayer said 9 days in a row to Saint Jude, is apostle and martyr, great in virtue and rich in miracles, near kinsman of Jesus Christ, faithful intercessor for all who invoke thee, special patron in time of need. To thee I have recourse from the depth of my heart and humbly beg thee, to whom God hath given such great power to come to my assistance. Help me now in my urgent need and grant my earnest petition. I will never forget thy graces and the favors thou dost obtain from me, and I will do my utmost to spread devotion to thee. Amen. So that was St. Jude. I'm going to go on to St. Simon, and I'm reading his from somewhere different and for no particular reason. It's just what popped up. This one is from the Encyclopedia Britannica. So www.britannica.com. St. Simon the Apostle. St. Simon the Apostle was also called Simon the Zealot. He flourished 1st century AD and died maybe Persia or Edessa, Greece. Western feast day for him is October 28th. The Eastern feast day, however, is June 19th, maybe because he's associated with the father, right? Or and the mother, right? He's the 6th and the 19th. Juneteenth, the day that Texas finally learned that slavery had ended, because they were the only state still practicing it officially, in an official capacity, was June 19th. The year escapes me at the moment, but Juneteenth is June 19th. Anyway, he was one of the 12 apostles in the Gospels of Mark and Matthew. He bears the epitaph Cananeos, or the Canaan, often wrongly interpreted to mean that he's from Cana or from Canaan. But this is a Greek word, and it's a translation of an Aramaic word meaning the zealot, which is the title that was given to him by Luke in his gospel and in Acts. It is uncertain whether he was one of the group of zealots the Jewish Nationalist Party before the year 70 AD. Apparently, the titles may have been an attempt to distinguish him from the apostle Saint Simon Peter. Nothing further is really known about him from the New Testament. He supposedly preached the gospel in Egypt and then joined the apostle Saint Judas or Thaddeus in Persia, where according to the Acts of Simon and Judas, he was martyred by being cut in half with a saw. A saw is now one of his chief iconographic symbols. And another is a book, so he can be represented by a saw or a book. According to Saint Basil the Great in the 4th century, and Saint Basil, who is considered the 4th century Cappadocian father, Simon died peacefully in Edessa. So he says that he was not martyred. And that is the story of Saint Simon. So now I have a really, I think it's relatable story about the first day of creation, in a way, about the new earth, in a way, about the old earth, in a way, about divine unions, light workers, all in a way, in the month of Heshvash, like all rolled into one. And this is from www.shabbat.org. And the name of the story is called The Discovery of Planet Earth, the 7 Universal Laws of Life. And the author's name is Zvi Freeman. Tzvi is how you spell his first name. His last name is Freeman, Freeman. I want to tell you about the greatest discovery of the millennium. It wasn't the printing press. It wasn't America. It wasn't even vaccination. The greatest discovery of the millennium happened near its very end. It was the discovery of the planet Earth. We were trying to get away from the planet Earth ever since we had to leave the garden. We built temples reaching to the heavens to transcend our earthly bounds, cities to lock out the earth's wildness as though we were not part of it. We told her she was a dark and lowly place, that we needed to escape her to reach our destiny. We ravaged her, raped her, paved her. Our dreams were dreams of overcoming Earth. Until finally, in the ultimate of all dreams, we escaped her. We told her, Earth, we don't need you anymore. After all, you're just one little planet in an awesome universe. We're going out there to conquer planets bigger and better than you. We shall become masters of the stars and of the galaxies. We got to the moon. The moon was barren. We sent probes to Mars. Mars was dead. To the icon beauty, Venus. She was dressed in poisonous burning clouds. And then the pockets of the United States Congress were also barren to fund our useless dreams. It was then that we looked back from outer space and discovered something we have never imagined. A shining jewel in the vast darkness. Never before had we known her beauty, the most beautiful planet a mind could dream of. It was then that we realized everything our spirits ever wanted was here, that we need her and she needs us. Our destiny is hers and hers is ours, for we are one. We discovered planet Earth. We need to save our planet Earth. There was one other time she was in peril, and then there was only one man who could save her. Not that he was the only righteous man. There were others. There was Methuselah and his disciples. But Noah was not just a spiritual man. He was, as the Torah says, a man of the earth. According to our tradition, Noah invented the plow. So God looked down at the world he made and how its soul had been ripped out of it. And he saw these people who prayed and meditated and transcended the bounds of the body and earth. And he said, you people are not the solution. You're part of the problem. Only Noah, who knows to bond body and spirit, heaven and earth, he alone can save my world. In our century, during the most horrible crimes of humanity, we've seen how spiritual people were quiet. The ravaging of humanity and the earth has happened with their permission. But now we've discovered planet Earth. We have discovered spiritual fulfillment and godliness within her. And we know that if we cannot make peace with her and with each other, we will not survive much longer. The Creed of Noah. At the dawn of creation, which is this week, according to, again, as they say, well, not rumors, whatever, the 23rd, Monday. At the dawn of creation, God gave the first human being 6 rules to follow in order that his world be sustained. Later, after the great flood, he charged Noah with 1 more. So it is recounted in the book of Genesis, as interpreted by our tradition in the Talmud. There will come a time, our sages told us, that the children of Noah will be prepared to return to this path. That will be the beginning of the new world, a world of wisdom and peace. For most of Jewish history, circumstance did not permit our people to spread these principles other than by indirect means. When the Lubavitcher Rebbe began speaking about publicizing them as a preparation for a new era, he was reviving an almost lost tradition. What fascinates me is the breathing room they provide. They resonate equally in a hut in Africa or a palace in India, in a school in Moscow or a suburban home in America. They are like the guidelines of a master, a great master of musician or art, film, reliable and comprehensive, but only a base. And upon this base, each people and every person may build. According to the sages of the Talmud, there are 70 families with 70 paths within the great family of man. And each individual has his or her path within a path. There is one universal basis for us all. Anyone who lives by these rules, acknowledging that they are what God wants of us, is considered by our tradition to be righteous. So I'm just going to insert in there that when I stress or demand to be called a member of the elect, of the illumined, of the lighted, it is for this reason, right? It says, anyone who lives by these rules and acknowledges that they are God wants of us is considered by tradition to be righteous. But if you're, and you have every right to, no judgment from me, but if you are considering you're something else and you're not acknowledging that you are of this, then according to the Talmud and Jewish tradition, Hebrew tradition, you would not be righteous. It's a personal choice. The builder and the person are the same. The person is a builder with a share in the world as it is meant to be. The Creed of Noah is a sacred inheritance of all the children of Noah, one that every person on the face of the earth can recite every day. And if enough of us will begin to say these same words every day, we will see a different world very soon, sooner than we can imagine. Here is a phrasing of the Creed of Noah according to the ancient traditions, with a touch of elaboration. I, child of Noah, caretaker of our precious planet Earth, accept upon myself the responsibility for peace and oneness in our world, as accepted by Adam and by Noah, transmitted by Moses and his people over the ages. I will not worship anyone or anything other than the one Creator who cares for the creatures of the world, renewing the act of creation at every moment in infinite wisdom, being life for each thing. In this is included prayer, study, and meditation. I will not show disrespect for the Creator in any way. This may be seen to include respect for the beauty and the life of the creation as well. I will not murder. Each human being, just as Adam and Eve, compromises an entire world. To save a life is to save that entire world. To destroy a life is to destroy an entire world. To help others live is a corollary of this principle. Every human being that God has created is obliged to provide for others in need. Our respect the institution of marriage. Marriage is the most divine act. The marriage of a man and a woman is a reflection of the oneness of God and his creation. Dishonesty in marriage is an assault on that oneness. Now, I'll just insert here that, again, this is from Moses, and it doesn't stress anything one way or another, other than to include gender, which we wouldn't do now, or at least I wouldn't. This would be non-gender specific. It could be a man and a man, a woman and a woman, whatever one is into. But also, this is pre-Jesus. And also, this is from the Talmud or the Torah, so it wouldn't be about Jesus either. Anyway, although Jesus is included in the other text, the Torah, as well as the Quran. Jesus, when he comes, he presents a new covenant, and he explains that all these old laws with regard to marriage were created to appease man and given to Moses. So that would all be after Noah. I'm just going to insert that. 5. I will not take that which does not rightfully belong to me. Deal honestly in all your business. By relying on God rather than on our own conniving, we express our trust in him as the provider of life. I will not cause needless harm to any living thing. At the outset of his creation, man was the gardener in the Garden of Eve, to take care of it and to protect it. At first, man was forbidden to take the life of any animal. After the great flood, he was permitted to consume meat, but with a warning. Do not cause unnecessary suffering to any creature. I will uphold courts of truth and justice in my land. Justice is God's business, but we are given the charge to lay down necessary laws and to enforce them whenever we can. When we right the wrongs of society, we are acting as partners in the act of sustaining creation. May the nations beat their swords into plowshares. May the wolf lie down with the lamb. May the earth fill with wisdom as waters cover the ocean floor. And may it be very soon in all of our lifetimes, sooner than we can imagine. So that's that. I'll just go over, because they included, again, a lot of their own words. So I'll just go what the 7 rules actually were, or parts of the 7 pieces of the creed of Noah. Number 1, I will not worship anyone or anything other than the one creator who cares for the creatures of our world, renewing the act of creation at every moment in infinite wisdom, being life for each thing. 2, I will not show disrespect for the creator in any way. 3, I will not murder. 4, I will respect the institution of marriage. So I would apply that to sacred marriage too. 5, I will not take that which does not rightfully belong to me. 6, I will not cause needless harm to any living thing. And lastly, 7, I will uphold courts of truth and justice in my land. And with that, I'm going to go to the sky this week and hopefully knock it out kind of quick. Beginning with Sunday, October 22nd, look high in the east after darkness falls this week. And you should see that autumn's most conspicuous star group, the Great Square of Pegasus, stands out in the evening sky at this time of year, though it appears balanced on one corner and looks more diamond-shaped. These 4 almost equally bright stars from the body of Pegasus, the winged horse. The fainter stars that form the rest of the constellation shape trail off to the square's west. Venus also appears 1.3 degrees southwest of the 3rd magnitude star Gamma. And that happens on the morning of Sunday, October 22nd. Monday, October 23rd, as the glow of twilight wanes, look a bit west overhead, and you'll see 3 bright stars that form the summer triangle, Vega in Lyra the harp, Altair in Aquila the eagle, and Deneb in Cygnus the swan. Deneb marks the tail of the swan, and Albirero is its head. You can see these with a telescope. You'll split Albireo, I don't know why I keep having trouble saying that, into a double star that glows gold and sapphire blue. So when you look at it, it's going to like split in half, at least in the lens. That's what it's going to look like. Look east of that starry triangle for 4 stars that form the main part of the constellation, Pegasus the winged horse. Amateur astronomers call this stellar quartet the Great Square, and it's the easiest way to find the legendary horse. Tuesday, October 24th, go out around 9:30 p.m. local time tonight. Look toward the northeast and find the W-shaped asterism that marks the main part of the constellation Cassiopeia the Queen. Then, using binoculars, scan about 10 degrees to the east for the famed double cluster NGC 869 and 884. This pair of open star clusters lies in the constellation Perseus. From a dark sight, they appear as fuzzy patches to the naked eye. Any optics, especially 10-power binoculars, really bring out their glory. Wednesday, October 25th, the moon reaches apogee, the farthest point in its orbit around the Earth. This happens at 10:24 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It then lies 251,751 miles from Earth's center. Thursday, October 26th, Jupiter is in conjunction with the sun. It now lies on the opposite side of our daytime star from our perspective. It will become visible in the morning twilight in mid-November. Friday, October 27th, first quarter moon arrives at 6:22 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Our satellite rises in the southeast around 2 p.m. local daylight time, but it doesn't become prominent until the sun sets shortly after 6 p.m. The moon then lies due south and about 1/3 of the way to the zenith. After darkness falls, the moon's half-lit orb appears in the northeastern part of Sagittarius to the upper left of that constellation's conspicuous teapot asterism. Saturday, the 28th, if you live in the southern tier of the states, you might be able to get a glimpse of Mercury as October ends. The innermost planet shines brightly enough to see at a magnitude of -0.4. The problem is that it rises only a couple degrees above the west-southwestern horizon 30 minutes after sunset. Use binoculars first, then if you observe Mercury, see if you also can spot it with your naked eyes. And lastly, Sunday, October 29th, asteroid 7, Iris, glows at a magnitude of 6.9 as it reaches opposition and peak visibility tonight. Iris lies within one binocular field of Aries the Ram's brightest star, magnitude 2.0 Hamal, or Alpha Arcturus. This area stands high in the east by mid-evening. The best way to find Iris is to look 1.5 degrees south of Hamal and 1 degree south of the star Kappa, which glows at a magnitude of 5.0. Sorry, I thought I had a sneeze. To confirm a sighting, sketch the star field with Alpha Kappa and several stars south of them. Return a night or two later and identify the point of light that changed position. That star, whichever one moved around, will be Iris. And with that, let's go to our dice. I am beginning with sex. It's 50-50. And buy shoes. Spirit says dirty movie, email, and eat cake. All right, so I wanted to show you guys this. With Jupiter in Scorpio having just begun, although it's going to be, with us until 2018, since we just had the new moon and all this new love and new abundance in all forms, I said, let me pull out my abundance cards, right? And I just had to show you that I'm starting out with 2 cards about money. I had been shuffling and then I opened these 2 and looked down at them and realized they were both about our finances. So I wanted to read them to you. When you're honest with yourself about your fears, success or failure, they can no longer control you. Be free of hidden fears by exposing them to the light of awareness, and you'll realize that you in fact have nothing to fear, and that every successful person has struggled with and released these self-doubts. So just sort of, you know, go on. Go on and about. Like, you know, we can't remain stagnant because we're paranoid. Release resentments about money as well. Yes, the money system of the world can seem upsetting, but holding on to resentments about finances just pushes your abundance away. Instead, see money as a tool you can use to better the world, and this shift will help you to attract support and golden opportunities for yourself. All right, so with that, I'm going to begin with the King of Water. Like I said, today there is a Scorpio moon. Maybe that's why. The King of Water is trustworthy, compassionate, respected, and cultured. Open your heart and mind to those around you. Trustworthy and heartfelt advice, and also charity work, which to me, charity work is love. And opening to the 9 of Air. So this could be the fears about money or anything else. Expecting the worst. Self-fulfilling prophecy, sleepless nights. There may be a Scorpio, Cancer, or Pisces who's, you know, been up at night, biting their nails, having trouble sleeping, particularly tired, and at risk of manifesting negativity into their own life with their own, you know, negative or toxic thoughts and emotions. Opening to the 3 of Water, a celebration, a wedding, graduation, or birth announcement. The need to have more fun. 3 of Water. And life experience with Archangel Chamuel, a significant life event, a powerful revelation that leads to change. It's time to spread your wings. Life experience is, of course, the Tower and the traditional tarot. And, you know, it can be good. It's more of a neutral energy. It can be good or bad. Opposite the 3 of Water, I'd say it was something good, right? It brings about cause for celebration. Maybe somebody gets engaged or married or something. 3 of Water. And the 5 of Air, an unwise choice. Learn what you can from this situation. Review everyone's motives. So it may have another meaning now. The 5 of Air opposite the 3 of Water. This can be about a party of 3 now, maybe. And that's what's upsetting or, you know, has brought about conflict. I'm in another room in my house. Just all of a sudden, randomly, Light My Fire just came on. 3 of Water. I'm going to cut. I don't know if you guys can hear it. And I've come to the 9 of Fire, which is funny because I was going to mention it and I didn't. But something, as I was reading one of those stories, I think it may have been about one of the saints, maybe Saint Jude. There was something about perseverance and keeping at it. And I pictured the 9 of Fire. Because, of course, this card is about perseverance and the need to keep going. Like, it's not a time to, don't give up, right? Protect that which you created. Have courage and believe in yourself. The overall energy is going to be the High Priestess. Major Arcana card number 2 or 11. Listen to your intuition. Have patience and consider carefully what you want before acting. This can be about partnerships, duality, faith. The number 2 can be about faith. The High Priestess for me is a Gemini or a water sign. She's a Gemini because the actual High Priestess is the Gemini, but traditionally in the tarot should certainly be a water sign. Also, 2s are associated with the sign of Gemini, as is duality. Masculines, the 5, major arcana card number 5, unity, or the high priest, the Hierophant, with Archangel Sandalphon. Traditional viewpoints and methods, spiritual organizations, seek out mentors and like-minded friends. The high priest or the Hierophant represents the sign of Taurus in the tarot. For me, in real life, the high priest is a Virgo. I guess it could be any earth sign too. And this card represents any commitments. It can be about legality too, marriage, right? Entering a partnership. Maybe that's why our overall energy is the high priestess. And this is the general reading. It's not a love reading, but I got to tell you, when I picked up the high priestess and I was talking about partnerships and entering commitment, the 2 of fires underneath it. Maybe that's why Come On Baby Light My Fire came on too. You've come into your own. New partnerships or contracts continue to move forward. However, under that is the Hermit. So maybe some of us need to go within before we can enter one of these commitments or partnerships. Spend time in quiet meditation, spiritual teaching, and self-discovery. And then hopefully you will decide, yes, that, you know, you can get in the driver's seat of your own life, racing toward your own victory, moving forward, moving on. An important achievement, self-discipline and willpower, maybe even public recognition. And that's the last one that's upright. Underneath it is the Ace of Water in reverse, which would indicate a new beginning is coming. It may be slightly delayed or something, but it is definitely still coming for perhaps a couple or some sort of partnership, close friends, people entering business, people getting married or entering a commitment, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Wow. Yeah. We're on a roll. The 4 of fire, or the 4 of wands, contentment, peace, and abundance, a happy home life, and the successful completion of a project, which is also about commitment, marriage, maybe moving, like the Chariot, physically moving into a new dwelling or a new job, a new location. And I think when I saw the 3 of water opposite the King of Water, I said maybe somebody gets married or something. That came out. So they must have been whispering in my ear from early about this impending nuptials. The masculine subconscious, it's the 4 of water. Missing an opportunity, discontentment or boredom. Open your eyes to the possibilities. So some of them may be afraid. That's the fear maybe that we talked about before. Perhaps having to do with money and maybe buying a house or, you know, renting an apartment or, you know, and entering that sort of legal commitment and a partnership between them and a landlord. That can be what these 2s are about too, since again this is general. And I saw moving for the masculine last week too for some of them, and that may be also why the Hermit is here. That's like them alone, not necessarily a couple moving into the place. For some, somebody alone where they're going to have time with themselves to learn about themselves. They are moving. Feminine, Ace of Air. Brilliant new ideas and inspirations, seeing the truth of a situation, a challenging beginning. I always say it's a beginning nonetheless, but the Ace of Air shows up when, like, we've had trouble getting to this spot, right? It's been difficult getting here, and like we're finally here. So maybe we're a little bit exhausted, we're drained. It's like, are we there yet? Yes, we're here now. So it's difficult in that sense. It's the beginning nonetheless, though, as I say. So it shouldn't be much harder than that. And some of the difficulty can be in hearing the truth. You know, that famous saying from the movie with Jack Nicholson, right? You can't handle the truth. Some of us can't, and that's why it's difficult. The Ace of Air, similar to the Chariot, is also a card of victory, too. So there could be some of that for the feminine. And this sits atop the 5 of Air. An unwise choice. Learn what you can from this situation. Review everyone's motives. So the feminine, there may be something coming out, or she may have taken some sort of action that maybe she shouldn't have, or said something maybe she shouldn't have, that we can get beyond. This is just a 5, but it does cause, you know, like a blip, as they say. Feminine subconscious. Yep. The King of Air, The King of Air is brilliant, impartial, professional, and diplomatic. Speak your mind with confidence. Seek out professional advice if you need to. Balance mental and emotional considerations. So this King of Air can represent the feminine herself. This can be her energy. Maybe she's a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or somebody that, you know, is taking on a lot of those attributes. We're very airy here. There's like no emotion in the feminine column this week. At least not yet. Maybe when I add something. So we want to be mindful of this and watch out for this. Crowning the union, the Three of Waters back. So the masculine clearly has reason to celebrate. The feminine may too. Again, the Ace of Air can be victory, a celebration, wedding, graduation, or birth announcement, the need to have more fun. At the root are our foundations, release or death. Represents the sign of Scorpio. Yet again, maybe it's popping up today because again, I'm doing this reading on the 20th, which is we do have a Scorpio moon today. The end of a phase or a situation. Spiritual transformation. It's time to move on. Somebody may have been cut away with the sword by the Ace of Air as well. And that could be reason to celebrate too. Like finally ridding myself of this person, place, or thing that was toxic to me. That was a bad choice. An unwise choice, you know, to have gotten myself mixed up with. The heart of the matter. Renewal. Now the 2 about partnerships and love. Yeah. Review and evaluate. A favorable assessment of the facts. It's time to move in a new direction. So renewal is judgment in the traditional tarot. It sits here above release or death. Judgment represents the planet Pluto for me, which rules the sign of Scorpio. So we have these two sitting here together. It's like an 11-13, which would equal an 11-11-11, because 13 is 4 equals 6 equals love. I think that for many of us, this is a love reading, you know, although it's the general. A lot of commitment here. After the feminine gets beyond like her fears and inner conflict and like having been presumptuous, maybe the masculine surprises her when he shows up with this loving, and you know, she was already about to spout something out of her mouth, and maybe she actually does, that she left the wrong sort of voicemail on his machine because she didn't think she was going to hear from him. Meanwhile, he was at the store buying her engagement ring or something crazy like that, is what I see here for some. For others, renewal, as it relates to any relationship, doesn't have to be romantic, is about having come to that crossroads and deciding like, where do we go from here, if anywhere? Like, do we continue on together? As it relates to work, it can be about abundance, about reward. And so maybe that's why it's crossing unity as well. Again, this represents Taurus or Virgo, the Pentacles. There can be some abundance on your way from the boss upstairs, or your actual 3D boss, or, you know, by whatever means it is that you earn or derive income. I'm going to clarify these with my other tarot deck, also by Doreen Virtue. This one is the Animal Tarot. This is the Angel Tarot. And I'm beginning with the Chariot. So we got 2 chariots so far. The Arabian Horse. You can successfully balance various and opposing energies at once through determination and focus. You've earned the rewards and recognition you're receiving. So again, this is a card of victory. Opening to the Ace of Spring, White Tiger. A wonderful new opportunity presents itself. It may come as a surprise. Remember I said maybe the masculine surprising her or something, but you'll still want to leap into action and passionately pursue every possibility. So that could be, that's a scenario where things don't necessarily look all that exciting. They may even look bleak. And then all of a sudden you realize that you've been presented with an opportunity. And so you jump into action with this new beginning. And so maybe getting there was difficult, but you're there now. That's sort of what I was trying to explain before. Chariot. Look, Another 5 of winter. And another 3 of summer, trying to peek out. Right? 5 of winter is the 5 of air. 3 of summer is the 3 of water. Your current path isn't leading you toward the happiest possible outcome. So why not change it? Always maintain integrity and compassion, but be alert to the hidden agendas of others. So the 5 of air in that regard, about maintaining your integrity and stuff, sitting here next to renewal or judgment, again, can be about the feminine perhaps being overly judgmental of herself and or others, maybe the divine masculine, and again, being presumptuous and arrogant and causing conflict for herself. Five of winter, I'll go one more. And it's the ace of winter. Live shuffling, real deal. Implementation of your brilliant new idea may get off to a rocky start, but keep going. The challenges will help you to refine your plan and reshape your goals into something even better. And we have that. Here we have the ace of air atop the 5 of air. Here we have the ace of air opposite the 5 of air. And that 5 of air is back. I'm going to cut. Oh, I didn't realize I went back to where I started. The 5 of air yet again. Overall energy is the magician. There's an infinity symbol here. I don't know if you guys can see, and a beautiful unicorn, right? The magical uniform. There is magic in the air. You can manifest everything you need to be successful. So now from the 2 decks, we have Major Arcana cards 1 and 2 as the overall energy. The magician to me is also a Gemini, because the magician, again, has all of the elements. Now, there are other mutable signs that have access to the other elements of the other zodiacs. However, Gemini, Raphael is really like hanging around today. Gemini is the only one of those who is, again, dual, who is 2, like squared. And so that's why the magician is a Gemini to me. Here atop unity, the ace of summer. This could definitely be somebody getting married or buying a new home or something. This is a new start that's going to make you so emotionally happy and fulfilled. Somebody could be going to college or something too, right? Higher education. All higher institutions are associated with the high priest. And for some, that could make them emotionally happy. Maybe you're the first in your family to go to college. You know, nobody ever had an opportunity. You never expected to have the money or whatever the case. And here you go. This is the beginning of a new emotional experience for you. It may be the first blush of romantic love, the rebirth of a current relationship, or the awakening of spiritual gifts and insights. Now, the ace of summer often means like reunion, right? However they worded it, rebirth of a relationship, and crossing what was here, judgment. It absolutely can be, because that's about reunion too, as it relates to couples. Surrounding the masculine, atop the 4 of fire, the 6 of autumn. All about being able to give and receive love in all of its forms. Your success and prosperity have allowed you to pay off debts, acquire wise loans, or receive a grant or scholarship in return for heaven's blessings. Be sure to share the wealth with others through donations of time and money, or to reputable charities. I'm sorry, right? Because I said before, being charitable to me is being loving. Now this sits atop the 4 of fire, and it says that you could have gotten a loan or something. So again, somebody could have bought a home. Somebody may be buying a car with the chariot showing up over and over again too. Or again, entering a partnership, entering a commitment, a romantic partnership, getting married, getting engaged, becoming boyfriend and girlfriend, or whatever the situation would be for you. I like this angel, like, well, I'm calling it an angel. It's a feather that appears to be like falling from the sky, like wafting down to the earth. And this bird has a quarter in its mouth too. That's about the prosperity, the money. It can again be somebody going to college with the 6 of autumn sitting underneath the Hierophant. Somebody got money to go to school that they never expected, and they're emotionally, they're so happy, they're overwhelmed. Masculine subconscious here atop the 4 of water, the Queen of Spring. Don't underestimate your ability to manifest your dreams. You may have several priorities vying for your attention all at once, but you can do it. So this is about the masculine remaining confident in himself. Here atop the Ace of Air, the 6 of summer, the love and care of children could become an important part of your life, or people from your childhood may return to it. Old memories can be healed, or possibly old childhood dreams are ready to be revived. So we got ace on ace action. We got water on air action, or vice versa yet again. And the 6 of summer also can represent soulmate relationships, right? Past life relationships. This can absolutely be the coming together, the marriage of air and water. So an Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, opposite a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, or air and earth with the Hierophant sitting under here. So a Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. Atop the 5 of air is the 10 of air. So 5s and 10s are very similar. They're both about clearing of energy and the need to change energy because it's been funky. Siberian Husky Dog. It's the end of a career path, project, or relationship. It brings feelings of mixed joy and sadness, relief and disappointment. Put aside your fears about these changes. Somebody may have cut away an old soulmate or an old friend or somebody, a childhood friend or something as well. And maybe they shouldn't have, or maybe a childhood friend or somebody like disappointed them. And you got to review everyone's motives there. Put aside your fears about these changes and trust that a brighter future awaits. Because the 10 of winter can be about betrayal too, or 10 of air. It can be about betrayal, it's being stabbed in the back. In the traditional tarot, it's a man laying on his face, right? He's flat on his face and he's got like 10 daggers or swords, literally like in his back. Can you hear that? It's Ain't Too Proud to Beg by the Temptations. It just came out of nowhere. I have children. They don't listen. I don't know. That's the angels for you. That's that angel here that keeps putting these songs on. Here atop the King of Air, it's the 5 of autumn. Focusing upon the negative or worrying about money or your career can block your progress. Because your trust and faith are at a low point right now, it's not the best time to start your own business or to become self-employed. So until you have more confidence and you release the fear, because you would manifest more negativity. That's why it's not a good time to do any of those things. As it relates to a relationship, because obviously this spread has been a lot about relationships. And as I was reading that, it didn't say anything about relationship, but I was feeling and hearing it. That you may have had an air sign or somebody, of those tendencies may have had a relationship that was full of disappointment and lack and loss. And so that's what's here in the feminine subconscious. Like I'm paranoid about that same kind of relationship or lack thereof, that I'm blocking my own blessings. I'm 5 of airing. I'm 10 of airing. And maybe blocking myself or delaying a beautiful relationship with my soulmate or, divine mate. That can be what this is. If you're acting like an air sign, get out of your head and let go of this. Crowning. Boom. Okay, another repeat. What did I say was hiding here under the high priestess before? Boom. All right. The Two of Spring. Your vision, creativity, and dedication to your cause have brought you great success. In fact, it may be in your best interest to get a partner to assist you in your endeavors or to expand the number of people helping you. This is sitting here atop the Three of Water. So again, it's cause for celebration. It's in between the Ace of Summer and the Six of Summer. So a renewed relationship, a relationship anew, or a new relationship for those of us that didn't have one at all. Opposite what would be, you know, a karmic, as in of the universe, and fated, destined, not negative relationship. And I like how there's like a new moon in this card too. So it's like showing the time. It's like now that this is happening. There's a moon here too. It's not like a new moon. It's more like a full moon, but that may be relevant as well. At the root or foundation, atop release or death, the Nine of Summer. Now's the time when your dreams come true. Don't worry about how this will happen. Right? Here we have worry, paranoia, at least on the part of the feminine. The masculine some too, because remember he has this Four of Water here. So he's not completely confident either. He's being reminded to be more confident, like Queen of Spring confident, Queen of Wands confident, with another new moon in this picture too. And not underestimate himself. This is like increase your self-esteem. Same thing. We've both got the same things going on in our heads. So we got to get out of it. Because what the real deal is, but in actuality, now's the time when our dreams are coming true. Don't underestimate don't underestimate yourself, and don't worry about how this will happen. Just give gratitude to God for all that you have and all that's still to come. And at the heart of the matter, atop renewal or judgment, balance. By merging varying points of view, you can create an extraordinary new idea, compromise with others, and collaborate to discover a better solution. Balance has another moon in it. Balance represents the sign of Sagittarius. It's the Temperance card in the traditional tarot, and it's about yin and yang, right? The black and white coming together, a partnership coming together, just like in this renewal card, just like is typically the case when you see the Ace of Summer. So I think our weekly general reading just became a weekly love reading. And with that, I'm going to do the advice. I wanted to also pull us each a card from my Surrender deck. So it'll be the only deck that I'm using today that's not by Doreen Virtue. This is by Judith Orloff, MD. So Dr. Judith Orloff, O-R-L-O-F-F. And the name of the deck is The Power of Surrender cards. Surrender to miracles, which is also very Scorpio moon to me, with this like sort of dark and somewhere between violent and welcoming water, and these two dolphins playing in this, okay, all of this. Be open to miracles occurring in your life. Feel and know that these events are real. Let go of any resistance and banish any doubt that miracles can happen. So they're talking about this on the part of the masculine, and they're talking about this on the part of the feminine. If you put in your head how it's going to happen and that it's going to be bad, then that's what's going to happen. At least for you, for a while, your happiness will be delayed, because your dream will be deferred, because what you're bringing into your life is this. Surrender to non-action. Now's the time to be still and not act. Simply breathe and focus on your own power. Let others come to you. And it's screaming to me that that is mostly on the part of the feminine, sort of like in connecting to what I was saying before about the feminine maybe being presumptuous. Blah. The masculine took too long to call or something. So now she's in his DMs or his voicemail going off like a lunatic. Just if you feel this coming on, remember the reading. Don't allow it to turn into this and ruin your this. Surrender outdated beliefs about yourself. Let go of limiting ideas about yourself that originate from the past. Then you can own your power and soar in your life. So as I said, that's like self-esteem issues and stuff. Anybody that feels that, masculine or feminine, but I feel that's mostly on the side of the masculine, you know, being specific about self-esteem, let that go. Like, I'm not good enough for her. I'm not handsome enough. I don't have enough money. I'm not smart enough. Whatever your situation is, let go of that. Or whatever you believe your situation is, I should say. And I did it again. I'm back to surrender outdated beliefs about yourself. The overall energy is surrender resentments. Holding on to resentments only poisons you. Try to forgive others for their shortcomings and keep moving forward toward positive situations in your life. And lastly, my abundance cards, again, beginning with release resentments about money and face your financial fears. Clean energy food. When you fuel your body with a healthful organic diet, you increase your energy levels and ability to focus. This automatically leads to more efficiency, better ideas, and a higher vibration, which attracts golden opportunities and beneficial relationships. Face your financial fears. Do the work. It's not enough to dream or pray. You also got to take the positive action steps that you're being divinely guided to take. Consistently working on your priorities will make them flourish like a lush flower garden. Face your financial fears. I'll go one more. It's safe for you to receive. This may be specifically for the masculine. I mean, although we can all take that advice. The masculine, again, has the 6 of autumn here. This is about exchange, giving and receiving. Maybe some birthdays, the last of the Libras, the first of the Scorpios. That can be what the receiving is about too. The more you allow yourself to receive, the more resources you have available to share with others. Open your arms to receive and to be a conduit for good coming to you and through you as it blesses the world. Face your financial fears. I'm going to cut. Words of abundance. You have the ability to instantly manifest abundance by choosing powerfully positive words. Always describe your own and the world's economic situation in loving and optimistic terms. And that is what you'll attract for yourself and others. The overall energy is attracting, not chasing. Anything or anyone you chase after will run the other way because of the fears underlying the chasing energy. Instead, attract what you need by sending out love, gratitude, and welcome. Okay, and from that abundance oracle, I've made a mess here. From that abundance oracle to the masculine, ooh, release jealousy. Jealousy is an affirmation that you don't have something, and the universe manifests exactly as you affirm. Let other people's successes inspire rather than frustrate you. If they can have it, so can you. So that I right away, as I looked at this card, I was feeling some of the masculine thinking about, you know, the other man or the other woman, maybe in the feminine's life, their ex or whatever the case is. And that's sort of like, I don't have as much money as them. I can't provide what they did and all that sort of thing. Or even the feminine's parents, like, right, she comes from this kind of stock, as they say, and I can't give her what she's used to, you know, but in a way that's more jealous and envious, rather than the confidence and faith that will lead him to believe that he can have all of that. They can have all those things together. Maybe they can even grow it together, right? Feminine, God is your source. Everything you need is supplied by the infinite source of God, and your faith opens the doorway to receive. In God, there is no lack or limitation. Rather, there is plenty of abundance for all to share. Masculine, what do you need to surrender? You need to surrender to the beauty of the natural world. Take a relaxing break and spend time in nature. Replenish yourself by feeling the beauty and the ecstasy that's there. Feminine, what do you need to surrender? The habit of people pleasing. Speak your needs and be true to yourself. Focus on your own happiness instead of always trying to make everyone else happy. From the angels to the masculine, the 10 of fire. Too much work. Accept help from others. Maybe enter a partnership. Life is out of balance. Right? Sitting here right atop the partnership. That leads to stress-related health concerns. So you don't want that. And feminine, I talked about the star and Uranus. Here's the star. Happy times make positive, optimistic, long-term plans. You are on the right path. Dreams coming true. Prayers answered. Wishes granted. From the animal tarot, lastly, to the masculine, the king of autumn. Here's your money that you needed. I kept feeling all that stuff about money for the masculine. Here is your money. Everything's going to turn out great. Projects will be stunningly successful. Exciting new career opportunities are possible, and money or resources that come your way will be invested wisely. The king of autumn is compassionate, accomplished, charismatic, and grounded. He is also a Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus, and anybody taking on these attributes or traits. And when he comes your way as advice, masculine, for the collective of you guys, it means money, 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 money. Right? Everything you touch will turn to gold. That's what it means. Your Midas this week. Feminine, strength. So maybe to get through, strength to hold off from, you know, from sending that text or making that phone call or hopping in a DM, you know, like a loon. The strength, true strength, is displayed through kindness, forgiveness, and compassion. You have tremendous personal power and courage. Strength, of course, represents the sign of Leo or other fire sign, maybe Sagittarius or Aries. I hope that you guys enjoy the general reading and you find it helpful. Namaste, angels.